असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Oh, may the Divine lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. Oh, peace, peace, peace.
This is a Hindi bhajan. Glory to Sri Ramakrishna. Glory to God Ramakrishna. You are Rama. You are Krishna. You are the incarnation of Vishnu in human form. Glory to God Ramakrishna. Whoever comes to your door, their wishes are fulfilled. You are that Kalpataru, wish-fulfilling tree. You are compassionate to all. You remove all obstacles. We bow down to your lotus feet 1,000,000 times. Whoever sings your name will go across the worldly ocean and will bring goodness and bliss. Glory to God Sri Ramakrishna, God incarnate Sri Ramakrishna. Jai Ram Krishna Bhagavan, Jai Ram Krishna Bhagavan. Ram tum hi ho, Krishna tum hi ho. Ram tum hi ho, Krishna tum hi ho. Manav rupi Krishna tum hi ho. Jai Jai Ram Krishna Bhagavan, Jai Ram Krishna Bhagavan. Ram tum hi ho, Krishna tum hi ho. Manav rupi Krishna tum hi ho. Jai ho Karuna Nidhan, Jai Ram Krishna Bhagavan. Jai Ram Krishna Bhagavan. द्वार तुम्हारे जो आया, जो मांगा उसने पाया. द्वार तुम्हारे जो आया, जो मांगा उसने पाया. कल्पतरु भगवान, जय राम कृष्ण भगवान, जय राम कृष्ण भगवान. राम तुम ही हो, कृष्ण तुम ही हो. राम तुम ही हो, कृष्ण तुम ही हो. मानव रूपी कृष्ण तुम ही हो. जय हो करुणा निधान, राम कृष्ण भगवान. जय राम कृष्ण भगवान. प्रभु जी तुम दाता सबके, संकट में त्राता सबको. Jai Ram Krishna Bhagavan, Jai Ram Krishna Bhagavan. Naam tumhara jugaye, bhat sagar wo tar jaye. Naam tumhara jugaye, bhat sagar wo tar jaye. Sabka करे कल्याण, जय राम कृष्ण भगवान, जय राम कृष्ण भगवान. राम तुम ही हो, कृष्ण तुम ही हो, राम तुम ही हो, कृष्ण तुम ही हो. मानव रूपी विष्णु तुम ही हो. जय हो करुणा निधान, जय राम कृष्ण भगवान, जय राम कृष्ण भगवान.
I'm reading from the book Holy Mother and Her Divine Life by Swami Kripamayananda Maharaj. The chapter is Ordeals in Kamarpukur. This passage which I am reading happened just after passing away from physical body of Sri Ramakrishna. Return to Kamarpukur. Before leaving Balaram's house for Kamarpukur, Holy Mother visited Dakshineshwar. She bowed down to Mother Kali, Krishna and Shiva and prayed for their blessings. She also went to the Nahapat, her old dwelling place, and to the Master's room. Sweet memories of the Master arose, and she remembered his advice. Look, don't extend your hand to anyone for a penny. You will never lack ordinary food and plain clothing. If you ask for money from anyone, your head will be sold to that person. It is better to get food from someone than to live with that person. Some devotees may lovingly offer their rooms for you to live in, but never give up your cottage in Kamarpukur. Stay in Kamarpukur, grow some spinach, eat that spinach with rice and repeat Hari's name. This was Sri Ramakrishna's advice to Holy Mother. In the middle of September 1887, Holy Mother left for Kamarpukur with Jogin Ma and Golap Ma. Holy Mother took shelter in her husband's hut in Kamarpukur. Sri Ramakrishna's closest surviving relatives were his brother Rameshwar's children, Ramlal, Lakshmi and Shivaram. Ramlal was the main priest of Kali temple in Dakshineshwar, and he and his brother Shivaram spent most of their time there. Lakshmi stayed in Dakshineshwar with her brothers and did not go to Kamarpukur with Holy Mother. Lakshmi was outgoing and enjoyed singing and dancing to entertain devotees. But Holy Mother was shy and unassuming. At 34 years old, for the first time in her life, Holy Mother began to live alone. Holy Mother was supposed to receive a monthly pension of 7 rupees from the Dakshineshwar temple authorities, but Ramlal and the temple cashier Dinu told Trilokanath Vishwas, the owner, that Holy Mother was being taken care of by the Master's devotees. As a result, Trilokya stopped her monthly pension. However, the Master had left a small amount of money with Balaram. Balaram had invested this money and he gave the interest of 5 or 6 rupees to Holy Mother every month. The Master's monastic disciples were themselves struggling to survive and were not even aware of Holy Mother's difficult situation. In addition, her own mother and brothers were extremely poor, could not help her in any manner. Holy Mother had rice from the paddy fields, one of which had been bought by Sri Ramakrishna in the name of Raghuvir, the family deity. She husked that paddy to make rice and grew some spinach and vegetables behind her hut. Sometimes she could not even afford to buy salt. Whatever she cooked, she offered to Raghuvir and ate the prasad. Holy Mother had only a few saris, which gradually became worn out. Sometimes she patched the cloth or else closed a hole by tying a knot in the fabric. Holy Mother followed Sri Ramakrishna's advice and lived alone in Kamarpukur. Most of the villagers in Kamarpukur were not educated. In addition, they were conservative, narrow-minded, superstitious, unkind and unsympathetic. In the name of religion, the village leaders followed their traditional caste and social rules and rigorously imposed them on helpless widows. Truly, it was a curse to become a widow in Hindu society in that era. In Kamarpukur, Holy Mother's initial problems were financial, but she soon started to face social difficulties as well. As long as Gulabma stayed with her, no village woman dared say anything about Holy Mother's lifestyle. But when Gulabma left for Calcutta, some narrow-minded conservative village women and men began criticizing Holy Mother. Here is reading.
Now a short video of meditation. Good morning, friends. Today's topic is accepting the change. Creation means variation, varieties. Uniformity is not the creation. Creation also means change. Change is inevitable in creation. Everything created undergoes change. Everything undergoes change. With the perspective of change, it is a two dimension for human beings. Change of what we consider to be ourselves, this body, mind, that much, and change in whatever is related to oneself. That is, whatever we see and perceive outside ourselves, like nature, society, family. Nature changing is very common experience of all of us. Weather changing, we know how. 4 weathers, they recycle one after another, they follow each other, and from summer to winter, it all goes that way. Society changes, the norms of society, the culture changes, government changes, law changes. So there is change in society. That's how the life is. Life means change. It is like a river flowing down. If there is no change, life will become stagnant. There has to be change in this life. So accepting the change is the challenge. Sometimes we are not able to accept the change. And there is change in family. Family traditions change. If we move from one country to another, like the immigrants that we have come from India to Canada, so many traditions have changed. Our children take up different things than what we valued, and sometimes there is conflict. Now, to be able to accept the traditions of this country being adopted by our children, so that is very important. If we don't accept those changes, there is a conflict between 2 generations, and that conflict leads to very tragic situations sometimes. And not only in immediate family, the relationships also often change in the extended family. Those who are very close, sometimes it changes and it becomes like something happens and change is inevitable. Something you don't fulfill their wishes, something misunderstanding happens. So there is change in even our relationships with our extended family. So if the change is in very close between the spouse, then it becomes very difficult. But mind is changing, thoughts are changing, ideas are changing. In that situation, there are change in thinking. So it is our duty how to accept the changes. If we want and think that everyone will remain same throughout the life, then that is our mistake, and that mistake we have to bear with suffering. For example, they say when you get married, first year, whatever husband says, that wife listens. Whatever he says, that listens. So then gradually change comes, wife becomes the part of the family. Now she has also individuality, and she also tries to speak out. So first year, endurance and trying to feel what is the condition and all that. Second year now, wife starts speaking, then husband listens. So that is the change. They say after the third year, then both start speaking and the neighbors listen. So that's how they make a joke of it. But the thing is, if the husband doesn't understand that there will be change in wife's understanding, mentality, in the sense that she is a part of the family. You cannot always dominate and dictate her. She has her own mind and ideas, she will express that. And you have to accept some of those. If there is no relation between accepting the suggestions and also suggesting something that can be accepted by the other spouse, then there is conflict, and naturally neighbor will listen, and then there will be lawyer will listen, so it will be all listening of various other persons, so there will be a lot of problems. So the changes have to be accepted, that is the thing. So traditions, relationships, all this may change. Misunderstanding with our extended family, with our neighbors, with our friends, how to accept that? This is also a common thing. What is misunderstood today, have patience. They may come back when they realize, oh, I had misunderstood. And also we often say that other person misunderstood, but we never say, I also can misunderstand. So look at yourself also, whether you have any misunderstanding with your neighbor, friend or colleague. So that way, if there is misunderstanding, there is chance. When the understanding follows back, comes back, there is chance that again the relationship grows. It often is seen that we become close and then we apart, depart from each other and again become close in life. So only what is needed is patience and not ill feeling in the heart that it happens, to be able to understand that these things are the part of life. The second and most important thing is what I was taking the first one I said, change in what we perceive to be ourselves. We in ordinary state perceive ourselves to this body and maximum that I am mind. So I am body-mind complex. I have a mind and I have a body. And this body and mind is I am. That sort of idea we have. And this body and mind always changes and we don't want to change and then there is problem. So it is said, Kalo Jagat Akshaka, the time, the great time that flows, it makes everything change. So time will be flowing, it's never static. So when the time flows, there is change, it is inevitable. So Sri Krishna said in the Gita that Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yovanam jara. 3 stages he describes in the Bhagavad Gita. That there is boyhood or child stage, and there is the youthfulness, and there is old age. That everybody sees, but doesn't want to accept. That is the problem. Always trying to be youth. Child wants change in him or her and wants to be youthful. After becoming youthful, wants to be fixed, and that youthfulness should remain throughout life. That doesn't happen. It is not the nature of creation. Creation means change. From childhood you have come to youthfulness. Youthfulness will be converted, changed into old age, into maturity and old age. Unless we accept the truth of nature, truth of life, then there is a lot of conflict within us, and these changes are something which are inevitable. Tatha dehantara prapti. Now, what about death? Till we survive with somehow old age, wrinkles skin and pain in leg and arm and the back pain, all those that come, slowly coming, arthritis, all this coming. So, but still I am living. That is also one solace. What about the dehantara prapti? What about dying, giving up this body, taking another new life? So that is the problem often we are afraid of, we are fearful of. Oh, I am going to die, I don't want to die. Maybe death will come any moment, maybe there will be some disease attacking me, maybe I will have cancer, I will have pneumonia, and I will die. Yes, definitely we will die. We have seen all born and created human beings and animals and all living beings die. So I am also that. Kabir Das said, wise person see that when one gardener was plucking flowers. So flowers then are talking that flowers are saying that, you see, the gardener came and he has plucked the flowers were bloomed. But the birds are saying, oh, he has taken the flowers today, tomorrow will be our turn, tomorrow we will be plucked up. So that thing goes on. But if we don't understand what this death means, that's why Sri Krishna says, the dhira, the wise person, those who understand, they are not deluded, they are not worried for any change that is inevitable in life, but to death, nothing worries them. Death will come one day, and they are always ready to accept and embrace the death when it comes, no matter. And why they are not afraid? Because jatasya hi dhruvo mrityu dhruvam janma mritasya cha tasmad apariharete natvam shochitum arhasi. Oh Arjuna, don't be sad for the inevitable. That is going to happen. What is going to happen? One who is born will be surely dying. Any born being, living being will certainly die. So, why are you afraid of your opponents dying, your relatives dying? Don't be afraid of that in the battle, he said, of course. And also he said the second thing which is very important from the perspective of Vedanta, that jatasya hi dhruvam janma mritasya cha. One who is dead is certain to be reborn. So, why are you afraid? One is died, dead, he will die and will be reborn again. So, this inevitable thing, one should not be deluded, one should not suffer, one should not be sad for this thing. That's what Sri Krishna beautifully said in the Gita. This is the wisdom, this is the knowledge. If we accept this wisdom, then there is no fear. There is the acceptance of change. With the more older we grow, the problems will also come to us. That is inevitable. So I live quite long, 100 years, and there will be no problem in my living physical or mental. If you grow longer, maybe my memory will go. That's very common. That's very common. Why to become sad? Why my memory has gone? You have lived longer. That's why memory is gone. That the cells die. That's what it happens. This seeing the thing and accepting the change gives us peace in life. That's what it is meant. There in the Vedanta it is said of Shadvikara. Any created being undergoes 6 changes. What are the 6 changes? Whenever jayate, something is born, something is created. First is birth. As soon as the being is born, there is asti, existence. What? Existence. The existence happens. That's also a change. Then, after person is born and exists, then it starts growing. Vardhate, the third change. Vardhate grows. Fine, it grows. Up to when it grows? Up to its maturity. The human life, you can say, 50 years is mature time, or 60 years, after which will come decline. The organs becoming old, body becoming weak, eyesight becoming less, and hearing you can't hear as you used to hear earlier. So every organ will slowly become tired and weak. They have done their duty for 50, 60, 70, 80 years. Now they are their turn to become weak and incapable. So that is inevitable. So viparinamate, after it comes to maturity like 50 years or 60 years, now with the present situation, then comes apakshiyate, decline, getting weaker, getting depart. So there is the problems coming, apakshiyate. And finally, after the declination comes nashyati. There is end. There is, the thing is, it goes to parts, it separates into parts, separation of the different parts. Nashyati means destruction, death. That is the nature of all created beings. Unless and until we have this change, natural change in mind and accept that, we just suffer. Therefore, change is a challenge, a problem. There are 2 ways out of a problem. Accept what's happening, see the positive, see the inevitable, and choose a peaceful state of mind, or fight against it and be miserable. Swami Vivekananda said something, quotation is quotation, change is always subjective. What we see change may not be that change. Where we see change is our perception of change. If you say, I am getting old, that is something that I perceive myself as the body and mind. And that is definitely getting old, but that is very subjective. If I am wise and I can perceive myself as the soul, which is beyond and over this body and mind, beyond and behind this body and mind, that has not changed. So, if I could find myself as that unchangeable soul, then where is the change? Where is death? Where is disease? Where is old age? It is always same, unchangeable. So, change is very much subjective thing, what you see change. In the Upanishad also it is said, that I will tell you later on, that how a wise person tries to find out unchanging thing among this change. Whole thing being seen as changing, but there is something underlying that doesn't change. We can't catch hold of that. We can't perceive of that. that makes the problem in us of this all fear of change. If we can find that thing that doesn't change in this all changing phenomenon, then there was no fear, there was no problem. So we have to, Vedanta says, try to find that reality which doesn't change. Why you just go on the surface and see the waves? Waves will come and they will melt down, they will go down. And if you identify whole ocean with the waves, then there is always change. Try to perceive the ocean which is always there and of which the waves are the part. You are that ocean. The whole thing that you see in this creation is this ocean bringing out some waves. Waves change, they emerge and they merge in ocean. But ocean itself does not change. Can't you have that vision to be able to see ocean and that do not identify with the waves? What happens if we are not accepting the change? Fear will grab us. We'll be in the grip of fear. Fear of unknown. So always, particularly of death. What will happen when I die? There are two problems with death we face. One is attachment to this life, to the things of the world, relative, money, wealth, everything. Another is, when I die, I have to give up everything. I will be separated from them, whom I love, who love me. And then, where do I go? Is there life after that? Is everything finished? So these two problems bothers a human being that's why fear of unknown, one is the fear of unknown. Where do I go? Is there a nice thing? Or is there all darkness? Do I go to hell? Now some people are afraid of hell and heaven. Did something not very good in life, and they think if I die, maybe I'll have to go to hell for my misdeeds. Then there is fear of death. And also, mostly, it is all attachment and delusion that all are my well-wishers, friends, loving beings, and I'm going to leave all them. So that is also Sri Ramakrishna told one story. I'd like to relate to you again that story. That one person was like that. He thought that everybody loved him very much. So his guru said, "Oh, this love is external in the world. Don't think that everybody loves you so much. It's all adjustment. It is all like respectability. It is all the relationship. The true love is only of God. True love, which will always be same, which will never change. Other love of the world, whether it is from the closest friend or closest relative, it is all subject to change." And the disciple said, "How do you say that? My wife loves you very much, my mother loves me very much." So he said, "Okay, you go your home and take this tablet, pill. And when you take this pill, you will become like unconscious, like dead, but you will not die. You will hear and perceive everything, but you will be seen as if dead. Then, don't worry, I will go and you have conversation and then you will understand." So he goes home and then takes that pill, and really he is as if dead. Now they're all crying started. He was so good now, just now what happened? My son died, wife said my husband died, all started crying. Now Guru goes there. And Guru said, "Why are you crying?" He said, "You see, Gurudev, this son died." He said, "My husband died. How will I survive? I cannot live without him. Why don't I die with him?" Like wife started saying. Then husband and Guru went near him and said, "There is a chance he can be revived. He can come back to life." All faces become bright of everyone. Gurudev, please do it. Teacher, please do it. How will he come survive? What we have to do? Only one condition applies. If anybody else is ready to give his or her life for this person will survive. Now they were all crying. Now, after hearing this, all crying stopped. Now who is going to give his or her life for this gentleman? So he went to his mother. Guru said to mother, "You were crying, now you are old, so you must be happy to give your life for your son." Mother thought and said, how can I give my life? You see, whatever happened to him is what we cannot do anything. I have grandchildren. Who will look after them if I am gone? So it's not possible that I can give my life. Then he then went to wife and said, you were crying so bitterly, now there is a chance that you can make your husband survive. Only condition is you have to give your life. Then husband comes back to life, and husband is dear to you more than your life, he said just now. Then she was also dumbfounded and she said, you are true, Guru, but my children, how my husband will take care? I have to be there, mother has to take care of the children. So no, that is not possible. Your proposal I don't accept. Whatever happened to him is happened. So you don't have to do anything. But I have to take care. This is my duty. All goes for in the name of duty, but there is clinging to life. Real love, what we really love is we love ourselves. That is human love. And our next love for our dearest person is second to my love for my own self. So Guru then gave him some other drill and said, mantra he said, and the person grew up and said, okay, this is the nature of the world. That is the love in the world. It's not real love that they will give their life for your sake. Another fear of not accepting the change is fear of not being in control. When something changes, like our children grow, that is often conflict in houses. So they often said, oh Swamiji, he is out of control, he doesn't listen to me as he was doing when he was young, he doesn't go to Vedanta society, I want him to go. Often people complain, they say now he doesn't want to go. When he was a child, he used to go with me, he used to do so many things, play there. Now he is not going, he is not listening to me at all. The fear of change. And one someone complained to Swamiji, children don't want to come to read nice things, don't want to come to the ashram, to the society and do meditation. Then Swamiji, this is all perfect. Swamiji, you are saying perfect. Yes, when you started coming to the society, Swamiji, as soon as I came here, when I was like 35 years of age, then I start coming to the society, meditate, I enjoy so much, there is so much joy here, being with the holy people, being with the devotees, working here. But my son, now he has grown 12, 13 years, now he is not willing to come. You see, Swami said, he is just 12, 13 years of age, and you came to the society when you were 35. So wherefore few more years? Wherefore 20 years more, 25 years more, and he will come. Why you have to drag him now, which you yourself didn't do? So fear of losing control, that often is associated with change. We have to accept the changes, that's the thing. And the third fear is fear of moving out of comfort zone. Mind is such a thing, it gets used to certain situations. Any change it doesn't like. It's just that I'm fine here. The more older we grow, the more it wants to be static. So in old age, you see, when we grow up and there is a time when it comes when we have to move from our house to a condominium or apartment, that is very big difficulty and great. Not only taking the luggage and packing the things, but the psychological problem with the outside comfort zone. You see, I have to drive now, I cannot drive. My eyesight is weak, or I am feeling not well. There is the lack of mobility in me. So that also becomes very fearful of change in the body and physical structure to go out of comfort zone. Fear of being inadequate. You think you are now doing less powerful, you are less adequate to perform the things that you are doing. That also is one fear that you are gripped with that fear when you are seeing the change in yourself. But change will happen no matter what. We will handle it better when we learn to move with the change. How to accept the change? The number one point is by understanding that nothing is permanent. Everything is changing, temporary. Everything is changing. That's why Buddha said, Dukkham, Dukkham, Sarvam Dukkham. Everything is beset with suffering. That's how the world's nature is. Unless you know how to live nicely, unless you experience the nirvana, unless you become spiritual, everything causes suffering. All your riches, all your glory, all your fame ultimately will bring suffering in life, and if you do not become spiritual. And he said, Kshanikam, Kshanikam, Sarvam Kshanikam. Everything is momentary, temporary, fleeting, changing, moving. That is the nature. If we understand the nature as it is, then we can accept the change. Sometimes what happens is we change, something changes, and we still cling to that thing. Often happens with our children when we move from one city to another. They have friends there and they say, how can we go? My friend is there, I missed him, I missed that. So there is always forget about the changed and gone things. We have to adjust to new places and accept that as our own. When you come and become Canadian citizens, often they say you were in the country and you were as if you are moving here and losing your connection with your country. You don't really lose connection. That is always there. You adopt one more country and try to accept this country of adoption as your own country. If you hold on to both that once and remember always your old country of your birth or previous country, then you will not be able to adjust and enjoy as the citizen of a new country. So accept the change and try to adopt a new place. And also always know there is a reason for change. Believe that everything happens for a reason. That is one thing we have to accept. There was reason, there was purpose, there was need. That's why this change came. Otherwise change would not come. And get used to new changes. That makes easy things. New car you buy. Often we don't want to, I love my car, old car, I love my old dress. The dress has become old, but I feel so comfortable with my old shoes. Very often people don't want to get new shoes. Oh, it pinches, it hurts. My old shoes was so comfortable. When it was new, we forget that means even then. So get used to new things and you will enjoy the same, it will be the same. You see how people whom we follow, whom we study, accept the changes in life, terrible changes, like Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda, when his father, he was growing in a very good family, decent income of his father, he was a lawyer earning a lot of money, he was having all his wish fulfilled, there was no problem, financial problem, any other problem, father was taking. Suddenly father died. Everything changed. Then they found there was no money at all. Lot of debts. Father was so generous, he used to take debt and give to the needy people. He didn't know that he will die so early. And there was a problem. Nothing was there even to eat. No money at all. So Swami Vivekananda then started searching for job. He was not getting. He was one of the highest educated person in the country that time. But Providence didn't want him to get job. So going from one place to another, going from one office to other, like in those days, like more than a century ago, it was the situation as if it is now here. So Swami Vivekananda couldn't get job. Now people, he was the eldest son. Among the son he was the responsible, so he had to earn. So he was not getting job. He was one day he became very tired, searching in here and there. The friends who used to love him closed door in front of him. Nobody welcomed. Nobody came to his favor and they gave helping hand. That's how the nature of the world. Tired, worried, miserable, Swami Vivekananda sat on that rock of a house just to take rest. After hungry also, no food. Then suddenly something flashed to him that there is God. And when he felt there is very injustice, it's how the world is. But when it flashed to him, he just found truth and said, oh, there is meaning in everything. Everything seems to be perfect. The world as it is perfect. So that idea somehow came to Swami Vivekananda. He regained his lost faith and had full faith in God and His providence. That type of acceptance of the change came with Swami Vivekananda. Finally, he went to Sri Ramakrishna, prayed, if I do not get anything here and there is one who really truly loves me, whose love exceeds human love, whose love exceeds even my own mother's love for me. It is Sri Ramakrishna. He will surely do something for me and my family. So he rushes to Sri Ramakrishna and says, Thakur, do something. I am not able to feed, I am not able to eat, nothing is there. Thakur said, go and pray to Mother Kali. And after that, the incident, how he was taken care of by Sri Ramakrishna himself, that don't worry, everything will happen. You will get simple clothes and simple food. You will not be able to touch the feet. In Holy Mother's life, just it was read how much change came after Sri Ramakrishna's passing away. Everyone used to come there, she used to listen. She was in a bliss, always so much happy. Suddenly everything changed. People forgot about her. And she went, Sri Ramakrishna said, go to your village, grow your own spinach and eat whatever comes, simple food. Sri Holy Mother did that way in abject poverty. Only few clothes are tied, becoming old. But Holy Mother never asked to anyone. They were rich disciples of Sri Ramakrishna who, if they knew, they could just help her. She knew that. But Sri Ramakrishna had, don't ask of anyone. And this changes, she just accepted. And she, later on, people came to know. Mahendranath Gupta came to know, Ghosh came to know, and slowly devotees started coming. They started giving help. They started thronging to her, and life again changed. But Holy Mother says in later years, I never felt any misery in my life. I always felt that the piece of pitcher is placed in my heart, full of peacefulness and blessedness. That was the Holy Mother's attitude. Why did it happen? Because she accepted the change. On the command of Sri Ramakrishna, or by her own right also, she would do that. She accepted the change. In Sri Ramakrishna's case also, that story, wonderful. Sri Ramakrishna was loved by so many devotees. The temple authorities, Mathuranath Vishwas, Rani Rasmani, all loved him. Particularly this temple owner, Mathuranath Vishwas, treated him as God, as Ishta himself, as his Guru. But Mathuranath passed and things started changing. And one day one person comes, attendant of the new master of the temple, Trilokya, and said, your attendant, this Hridaya, has to go. He has to leave the temple. He cannot stay here. Sri Ramakrishna said, do I also have to leave? The person said, yes, you also have to leave. Sri Ramakrishna was never done anything wrong, nothing. He said, okay. Then he put his towel on his shoulder and started going. Now Hridaya also went, and Sri Ramakrishna also going towards the gate. This Trailokya never meant that Sri Ramakrishna should go. In excess of the command of the master, the one who brought message, he gave the wrong message. When Trailokya saw Sri Ramakrishna leaving temple, he was very afraid, scared, because his father loved him very much. Mathuranath loved him very much and adored, and because of him all the prosperity he has seen Divine Mother there, all this temple is growing in prosperity because of Sri Ramakrishna. He rushed from his house, the Trailokya rushed, caught hold of the feet of Sri Ramakrishna and said, Father, where are you going? And why are you going? He said, because you sent a message that I should leave. But where are you going? He said, I don't know where I am going. He said, no, Father, I never meant that. He gave you wrong message. Please go back to your room. That will be always for you. He said, oh, you didn't see? Okay, I go back. Then he came back as if nothing has happened. No ego, no complaint, nothing. That is accepting change. Like Sri Rama's case. In the case of Sri Ramachandra, how you see he was going to be coronated the next morning, and the next morning news comes, no, he will have to go to the forest for 14 years. And the description says that Sri Ramakrishna, when he was being coronated, this changed from his prince to be coronated as the ruler. there was no elation. He was saying, no change. This change didn't affect the change in his mind. Next day, all things gone, all joy gone. Being ruler was a far off thing. He had to come, leave to the forest. Then also he was saying, this change also he could accept. This accepting change alone can give us peace in our mind. Therefore, acceptance is the way to experience temporary happiness to enduring happiness. It is more than feeling happy, it is actually being happy. When we are able to accept the change in our life, we really are happy and we can say, like Holy Mother, I feel the picture of peace is placed in my heart. That is always there, full of peace my heart is. Acceptance is not a weakness, is not mediocrity or a result of lethargy. It is born of wisdom by observing the true nature of created things, including one's own body and mind. Accept the inevitable, apariharya. That's what Sri Krishna has said. Tasmat apariharyate natvam sochitum arhasi. Don't be sad for which is inevitable, which cannot be changed, that will happen. Why become sad for things that are going to happen? No way you can change it. So, does it mean we should never try to change? Even bad things? Even evil? Far from it. We must continuously try to change our mind, make it purer and purer, keep body healthy and fit. The best path is what is shown by the serenity prayer. What is serenity prayer? That's the best prayer regarding the change and accepting the change or not accepting the change. Serenity prayer says, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. That. The courage to change the things I can. And the wisdom to know the difference. What can I change? What can I not change? And that how to differ, I want that wisdom by which I can understand within these two. And what I can change, I should strive for change. And what I cannot change, let me accept that which I cannot. This is beautiful serenity prayer. And remember, amidst all the changes, there is one thing that does not change. God, which our soul, our true divine self, says Kathopanishad. Nityo anityanam chetanas chetananam eko bahunam yo vidadhati kaman tamatmastham enu pasyanti dhiraha tesham shanti shaswati netaresham. Who experiences eternal bliss and eternal peace? One who can see among this temporary changing phenomenon the unchanging reality. Nitya among the anitya, the eternal permanent thing that flows through this changing phenomenon. Who can see the water in the waves? Not just waves, there is water which makes the waves which doesn't change. So that is water is nitya, it doesn't change. Waves come and go. Ocean doesn't change, ocean is nitya. So one who can see that which is permanent among the impermanent. Chetanas chetananam. Among those who are conscious, there is the consciousness. The one who is truly conscious, that thing. What makes our body and mind conscious is our own divine self. Try to catch that self which doesn't change, and if we can see that true consciousness which makes the whole system conscious, then we'll have that eternal peace. Shaswati Shanti. And another is Eko Bahuna, varieties, planets, stars. In the earth, so many varieties, plants, trees, stones, river, mountains, ocean, sky, cloud, so many varieties. And living beings, how many millions of species perhaps? And among human beings, one species, so many varieties of human beings, everyone unique mind, unique thought, unique structure. But there is eko bahuna. Among these varieties of whole creation, there is one eternal principle which is there, which makes all this, pervades all this. Like the thread that passes through everyone, in the garden, every flower, through every flower passes one thread. That one thread which holds this all variety, try to catch that one who can see that one that doesn't change, one in many. If we will see that in tamat mastam, in your own self, then there is peace. With that, with unchanging, which is one in many, which is the consciousness among the conscious being, who is permanent among the impermanent, eternal among the fleeting, who is that? Tam Atmastam, that principle resides in our own heart. Try to catch that being who is closer to you than what you think you are. It is not your body, it is not your mind, it is your own soul, own self, your own I. Try to see that, and if you can find that, which is unborn, undying, doesn't get old, doesn't get disease, doesn't have any change, try to find this changeless self, and then you will live with this changing world with all peace and joy. That is the message of the scriptures.